Bonjour, nous sommes aujourd'hui avec Davide Ortisi, qui est à la fois le fondateur et je dirais le big boss de Data Center Nation, qui est une organisation qui organise donc des événements à travers le monde, dont un événement qui va démarrer en France en février, qui est donc Data Center Nation Paris. Et nous avons l'honneur, en tant que Data Center Magazine, d'être également partenaire de cet événement. Et donc, il nous a paru opportun de pouvoir vous présenter à la fois David et Data Center Nation. Hello, David.
Good morning, Heath. Good morning. Bonjour, everyone.
Well, we will do this interview in English. We understand. It's not a problem. Could you present Data Center Nation?
Oh, absolutely. So yeah, as you mentioned, thank you for the introduction. My name is Davide Ortisi. I'm the CEO and founder at Data Center Nation. We are an organization based out of London, based out of the UK. We launched in mid-2021, so a relatively new organization. We hosted our first event ever in 2022. And we were actually, I think we were doing pretty well, to the point that we got the attention of prominent investment fund in media here in the UK, and to the point that we got acquired in 2024. So a very, very, fast development on that front. And today we are part of a family that is called InfraX Media, that I will tell you about it more maybe later. But in a nutshell, it's a proposition where you have some leading brands in data centers and digital infrastructure, like Data Center Nation, like Data Center Dynamics, like Yotto, like SDX Central. And the mission of this group is to serve, the $1 trillion worth digital infrastructure and data center industry globally, with different products, of course, in different geographies. But this is, in a nutshell, our mission. Today, we operate in Italy, in Poland, in Switzerland, in Saudi Arabia, in France, in Canada, with more markets to be revealed soon. You may notice maybe that if in all these markets where we operate, we pick them for a reason. And the reasons are pretty much two. One is the very high degree of growth that these geographies are experiencing, especially if you look at the data center industry from a geographical standpoint. In the past, a few years ago, it used to be all about flat markets, like the main, let's say, data center markets in Europe, and then the US and China, etc. Our proposition when we founded the company was about going to markets that were, let's say, a bit overlooked, if you like, but markets that were going to experience a high degree of growth in data centers in light of sovereign cloud. Today, this is even more true in light of AI. And where especially there was a gap in terms of an event platform or a networking platform, able, of course, to, let's say, support the digital transformation and development of the data center industry in these markets. And this is right at the core of our proposition.
Okay. Like, you are new for us French people, French company, French ecosystem.
Yeah.
What will we find during your event?
For sure. So as part of our series, as you mentioned before, we are hosting next February 17th at Palais des Congrès in Paris, our flagship French data center summit called Data Center Nation Paris, to which I invite the audience and the reading base of Data Center Mag to, of course, attend, to reach out to us, to explore opportunities. As per all of our events, you will find a summit that is by invitation only, of course, for an audience that will have 800 plus leaders in attendance, 70% of which will be coming from the hyperscale, colocation, and enterprise data center community, plus, of course, the consulting and contracting ecosystem, and the real estate ecosystem, and the energy and utilities ecosystem, plus, of course, the data center supply chain. So all the technology vendors and providers, the leading companies from both, of course, global perspective, like Vertiv and Background and Schneider and you name it. Plus, of course, also local players, because, across all our events, we like to find a balance or the right blend between key leading players, plus, of course, the local flavor. That's the reason why we exist. We don't do pan-regional gatherings, but we like to delve into the dynamics of specific markets. So we will be an amazing French summit for the French people and for the French data center industry.
Okay. I'd like to know DCmag will be with you during this event, and it will be a pleasure. I would like to ask, because it's the opportunity to meet you today. From your perspective, what are the trends in data centers, and what of those trends will we find in Paris in your event?
For sure. As you mentioned, we are, as an organization, we are privileged to partner with you. And so DCmag and DCN are partnering together for the benefit, of course, of the event and the data center industry in France all together. And this, of course, ties well back into what I was saying before. So, finding the right balance between blending the global flavor with local flavors. And an event in France would be not possible without involving the leading media and the leading magazine for the data center industry in France, such as DCmag. Coming to the trends, we can talk about, I think, many trends today, from sustainability to AI to liquid cooling to staffing and recruiting, from to perception of that we need to change the perception of the data center industry in front of key stakeholders and also the public. But I think one big trend stands up, or is more important than all other trends. I think today we are really on the verge of a new industrial revolution for data centers. It's like, we see announcement of new facilities being built, of new projects being launched, of new investments being made pretty much on a daily basis. Okay, and we're not talking anymore about 20 megawatts. We are talking now even gigawatts. We're talking about 200 megawatts. We're talking about 500 megawatts. So this is like a total revolution. So I think the conversation today is all about energy. It's all about, in my opinion, not all about, but it's mainly about how do we plan and supply energy, for this industry that is requiring, of course, a lot of energy, or some levels of energy that were not even thinkable a few years before. And to this point, I saw an announcement today as an example of, the Spanish government announcing an investment of about 14 billion in the grid, in the electrical distribution grid, both like generation, of course, and distribution. Pretty much taking let's say, the total capacity to about 27 gigawatt by 2030. This is like an increase of 14 times the current capacity of the grid in Spain, and 4 gigawatts should be devoted to data centers. So I think this is the key point. Data centers demanding an incredible amount of energy, and the ecosystem in terms of government, utilities having to adapt. And then, of course, the whole conversation about also off-grid technologies that are emerging, such as small modular reactors. So I think it all revolves within this energy conversation. Mm-hmm. For this first AI training phase, then it will be inference, but we'll deal with it in due course.
Okay. And another time, from your perspective, what are the difference between your event in Paris and other events? Did you see something specific on Paris and French ecosystem?
Totally. I mean, great question. I think when you go to a market, I mean, that's at least, our ethos. When you go to a market, we always strive to go and let's say to fill a gap. We don't go to a market creating duplication, or let's say we don't go with a proposition that we don't think is useful to the local ecosystem. Take all the markets where we go, we are really the dominant, the flagship event. Take Italy, take Poland, take Switzerland, take Saudi, take Canada. In France, there is, as you know, an existing event, which is a trade show, which is DCmag. We all know the event. In flap markets, typically, you have like two events do coexist. So you have the trade show model, like DCW, as an example, and then you have like another event. Of course, they need to be in a different moment of the year, and this is the case. An event like ourselves, we are not a trade show split over 3-4 days, where, of course, the center of the event is pretty much about exhibiting and meeting people. We are rather very much of a summit, like a top-notch networking event dedicated to directors, decision makers, C-levels within the ecosystem, very much centered around knowledge. So I'll give you some numbers. In Paris, we're hosting 800 leaders, as I mentioned before. We're hosting about 45, 50 sponsors, leading players, and 28 plus leading sessions on anything about sustainability, AI, energy, compute. So I'd say that the main difference of the Data Center Nation events in front of other events is the intimate setup, the one-day setup, very much based on quality networking, top-level networking, and knowledge exchange. Because, it's very much content-based and content-rich. And, of course, business development. The commercial part, of course, is also very important.
Okay. And just to finish, could you say some words on our partnership with DCmag?
Of course. And as I said before, we are really privileged to partner with you. We see this as a great opportunity for two reasons. One, I already mentioned. Whenever we go to let's say, to a local ecosystem or to a national ecosystem, that's why the company is called Data Center Nation, we strive to partner with the key players in each market. And that's, for example, the reason why we partner always with local associations, Italian association, the Polish, the Swiss, you name it. And also, with key players like in media and like yourselves. The other reason that I find very, very interesting is that since the first time we met, I very much liked your ethos, the fact that you are family business, but also, the fact that you really devote a lot of time to delve into the dynamics of the ecosystem. You put a lot of quality in what you do. You hold very close relationships with players locally. So I'd say that this attention to detail and this quality that you guys put in the work that you do aligns very, very well with what we do as well. So I think it's a great partnership and a natural step for ourselves to partner with you.
Okay, thank you, David. And we will see you in February at the Data Center Nation Paris. Okay.
Thank you, Yves. See you at DCN Paris 2026 on February 17th. Thank you so much.
Okay. Goodbye. Thank you.
Best. Bye-bye.